Look at this, people here already. Hello, everyone. My mic looks a little hot. Let me know if I'm a little hot. Wow, look at it. Zep, Seth, Seven Potatoes More, Indie Skeep, Slug Fan, Joe, nice to see you. People are here already. Great. Hi. How you doing, everyone? Back to the puppet mines, as it were, and my iced coffee. Although I sure don't need iced coffee today. It's been nice and cool today, so you heat a lot of it. All right. Yeah, this is we're back to the old PC now, which I had to set up completely from scratch again. So I have tested. Everything should be fine, but you never know. It's streaming, so you know. Something's gonna go wrong. How y'all doing out there? Those of you who have been following on the socials and or the Discord, join the Discord. Links, as always. Know that things have been pretty darn good around here. I've been doing some new stuff and it's been going very well. So we're gonna go over that soon as I have some more coffee and we hang out and chill a bit and let people filter in. Although there's some folks here already. That's pretty good. Can anyone on Twitch confirm you can see YouTube chat? Good question, because I still don't know what's going on. The bot says all three are connected. So, hey JB, nice to see you. I mean, I could see Twitch and YouTube chat, so, and that's on the Restream bot. So we just need to know if the Restream bot is routing between all platforms. Looks like yes. Looks like we are good. All right, cool. So yeah, it's just the Restream bot was being weird. It may get weird again because it's the Restream bot and I'm not paying for it. So, I got nobody to complain to. It's free, therefore I'm the product, right? No one on YouTube has chatted since I joined, which is true. Indies Keep, say something on YouTube, because I know you're among those on YouTube. I think Joe was on YouTube as well. There we go. So, Indies Keep just said something on YouTube. There we are. Okay, cool. Awesome. Frankie's arm is hanging down here. It's kind of making me a bit nervous. Let's just tuck that up there. There you go, Frankie. Thank you. I was feeling drafty. Oh boy. Yeah, we got some stuff to go over. Let me tell you, Internet. Those of you who have seen the little preview. Hang on. Do the... We got a few things to talk about, as you can see. There's some stuff happening. I know, Frankie's gonna Frankie. I got the door open here, so Jimmy is currently sitting on, he's a little bench that he sits on in here. He was just playing with a toy. We may get some Jimmy momentarily. And I am currently printing on the printer, 3D printer, so if he jumps up on my lap, he may get frightened and I may get injured again. So, fun for everybody except me. Yeah, so stuff. Halloween. Here's the thing about what I've been doing lately. Those of you who listened to the podcast, hello, know a couple of things. One of them is that I've been playing around with some maquetting. Which is kind of new. I haven't really done this kind of thing before, and it's going very well. The other thing is, speaking of the podcast, the next podcast is going to be live streamed. This last week's stream. That's okay, Joe. Honestly, not much happened. It was one of those sit and watch Kevin Hanso streams. It wasn't a whole lot went down. This one should be more interesting. Although most of it's going to be a recap of stuff I've already done. The stuff I actually have planned to do today is probably not all that exciting. But nevertheless, our review that we're about to do is going to be really interesting. So yes, the next podcast will be live streamed, video and all. Will be on Friday, September 22nd, Twitch and YouTube. The time will probably be about 8 p.m. Eastern-ish, so whatever that is for you. I know that some people may be able to make it, some people may not. Obviously, the VOD is going to be there, but It's going to be the day after my birthday, and it's going to be the end of our top 5 games of all time, which is my number 1. So we thought we'd do something special for it. So basically doing it's the me show, because none of this other stuff is, right? Anyway, that'll be fun. Got some technical things to work out, which I'm going to be working on this weekend. But anyway, let's talk about puppets. So I haven't had a lot of experience with the process of clay maquetting, which is the thing that most people know about for when you're going to design a new pattern. So I've shown the other way of designing a pattern from scratch, which is to just freehand draw it. That's y'all know about that. And that's the thing I've been doing most of the time. But I wanted to shape, and we talked about this I think last week. I don't even remember. I wanted an egghead shape, basically. So, round and wide on the top, and then it narrows at the chin. And I have patterns for doing like a Burt style cone head. So you would think just turn it upside down, right? Doesn't work like that. Because of how the mouth plate makes it go weird, and because of the scale, it gets all weird and the pattern flattens out. It doesn't work like that. You have to do it differently. You have to do it with a bunch of darts, basically. So knowing that, and then knowing that, sort of thinking in my head and just breaking it down, well, basically it's half a sphere and then a cone, right? That's what you want. I thought, well, I don't have any clay. One of the reasons I haven't done any clay maquetting is I just don't want to get modeling material that I'm only going to use, and it's the type of clay you should use for clay maquetting is not cheap. And I don't really have the room to store more stuff that I'm only going to use occasionally. So, and then I thought, well, hang on, I can just print something on the 3D printer. It is Wednesday already. Hello, Scarlett. Nice to see you. So, and I showed this last week, and this is, I moved on a bit from that, and I printed out a form. Koya, nice to see you. It is. We're getting, all the folks are here. Doing well. We're talking about maquetting, creating a new pattern from scratch for a shape that I wanted that I didn't have. And it's basically this. So the reason I printed out, so I just made like half an egg shape in Blender and then sliced it in half. And the reason I sliced it in half is because I knew I wanted to do a left-right mirror, so you don't need to pattern the whole thing. You only need to pattern half of it and then just flip it and mirror it. So why print something that you don't need to print? Waste of filament, waste of time. So I printed out this half egg shape. And then I realized as I was partway through, well, hang on, the question with clay maquetting, no matter how you're going to maquette, what you end up doing is you end up laying tape, like painter's tape, masking tape, over the surface, and then drawing on the surface where the pieces are, where the darts are going to go, where the separate chunks are going to go. And the question is always, where do you put the darts, right? And there unfortunately isn't one simple answer other than you want the pattern to lay flat. Obviously, that's the goal. You're flat patterning. You're trying to get from a 3D surface to a flat 2D pattern. So when you pull the tape off, the tape should lay flat on the dartboard. Hey, so basically, you want the darts to go anywhere where there's a curve, right? And you want the dart to flatten out that curve. So I realized as I printed this, because it was a relatively low polygon model, well, hang on, the lines for the darts are already here. Let me go to the top cam. I think it'll be the best way to show this. So you can actually see the individual polygons in the model. So it's like deciding where to put the darts was a no-brainer. I just had to follow the lines, right? So that's why I went, okay, and I know the top bit I want to be basically half a sphere. So I'm going to make this in 4, and then the total will be 8, which is the usual number for doing a sphere. And I put the mouth here, and I put a dart down here just to make sure that this curve would be nice. And then I just roughed out a neck hole. This ended up being way too small. I had to make the neck hole bigger. And then just decided here's where I want the chin, right? And obviously I kind of went, oh, no, that's not good. I'll do this. I just kind of mucked around with it. And I ended up, this suddenly got quieter because the 3D printer finished printing the thing I was printing. So I ended up with this. And this is the tape that was laid over the surface, and then I just took an X-Acto knife and cut all the bits and flattened it out and just put it on a piece of cardstock. And then I took this piece of cardstock, laid it on my scanner, scanned it in, and ended up with this. So here's the pattern that was taken from the surface of this 1:1 scale. The bigger your model, the more accurate your flat pattern is going to be. So then I just took that and I made it in foam. And this is it. This is the exact 1:1. And you can see it's pretty accurate to what I had. Now, the first thing I noticed was it was starting, because of the soft materials, and this is the part that you always have to play around with and you can't really predict. It was starting to get a little bit more sort of chunky and rounded than I really wanted, but that's okay. That's the kind of thing you can iterate on and then work on. But this, as a small scale example, is pretty good. That's a pretty accurate, and when I had this small scale one, I could go, okay, well, here's what I want. I know I want the mouth to be a bit wider. The neck hole's gotta be bigger for sure. So we'll see. So I did some changes. Demon Dreamer, hello, nice to see you. I did those changes and ended up, I made it a slightly bigger scale. And this is the point at which I went, okay, I like the mouth size, is fine. So let's do the mouth plates now. And the way that I designed the mouth plates was real simple. I just took the form that I already had and then took a piece of cardstock, let's say this for example, and you just stick the cardstock in the mouth and trace around that and cut it out and then true it up, fold it in half and make sure it's symmetrical and everything. And took that into scanned that in, made it into vectors, printed it out, and there we go. There's our mouth plate patterns. So this is actually usable Puppet. This is actually, you can, but this is still about 3/4 scale. But the bigger that you go, I noticed that the rounder the head was getting until I printed it out at full scale and did the mouth plates for real. I also made the lower jaw a bit shallower because I wanted more of an overbite. But here it is at full scale. And you can see there's a couple of things that are different from what the original model is. And the very first thing is this is much rounder than the original model, right? This doesn't have the nice taper. But this is still good. This is still usable for something. I mean, this will make a great alien, right? So I'm going to keep this, obviously, but this is just part of the process of, as you scale it up, the materials, because the thickness of the foam is the same, these are all made at a 1/2 inch foam, it's gonna, the way the foam curves is going to be a bit different. It's basically going to kind of flatten out and want to expand. So knowing that, I kind of went, okay, so this is good. I'll use it for something, but this isn't what I wanted for the build exactly. I wanted it narrower, more egg shape. And so I started playing around with this, and I realized that as I was dragging, and I was just kind of like doing what you would do with draping. I was just kind of going, okay, well here, if I pinch this off, then that profile looks, or that silhouette looks a bit better. And then I realized, well, hang on, it's just the back 2 darts. If I eliminate the back 2 darts, that pulls the whole thing in and makes it nice and thin. I also knew that I wanted less of, like, I wanted the neck hole to be further forward. This is still a good placement for like an alien character or something, but I wanted this to be a bit more humanish. And so that neck hole is a bit too far back. And then I realized, well, then I can really just get rid of this dart here. I don't really need this. So if I just go from this point of the chin up to the top of the head and eliminate these 2 darts, let's just see. So that's what I did. I did an iteration of the pattern, eliminated the 2 darts in the back, eliminated the dart in the jaw, and just went straight from that point in the jaw up to the middle. And this is what it ended up with. And this is pretty neat. Oops. It's also very light and bouncy. And this is a really cool shape. I like this a lot. But it still wasn't quite what I wanted. Now, as you can see, the problem is the taper is really good, but it's a little too pointy on the top of the head. Now, of course it is, because I hadn't changed the angle of the darts. So all you got to do, if I wanted to like flatten this out and round this out, is just change the angle of these darts, make these darts a bit shorter. Like, just basically pull in the top point to, I think I went down about an inch or so. So that's what I did. And I ended up with this, which is freaking perfect. And I love it. Well, this is the thing, all of these are going to be useful, right? And this is look at what I've ended up with at the end of this. And this was like a few days. Like, this was not a lot of work. This was just like playing around and iterating and, starting from this and ending up with 3 different patterns that are all usable and good, right? But this is exactly what I wanted. I am absolutely in love with this thing. This is such a pleasing shape. And then it magically grew fleece. Yes, exactly. Well, so about the fleece. Hello. All I ended up doing, now most of the time for when you're doing this kind of thing, what you want to do when you've got the foam pattern the way you want it, then a lot of times you would drape the fleece. Now, I'm not bad at draping. I'm pretty good with it, but it's not necessarily an intuitive or easy thing to do. I realized that I didn't really need to drape the fleece. I can show you the pattern here. Did it that's wide. Here we go. So this is the foam pattern that I ended up with, and you can see it's just 3 darts. Like, it's just 3 pointy bits, and this all gets joined together like that. And this is it. This is as complex as that is. That is what makes this shape, which is kind of wild when you think about it. It's so simple. But I looked at this and went, well, you know what? If I was going to drape this, I would probably end up with 2 darts in the head anyway. I've already got the darts here in the right places. I don't really need to drape it. All I need to do is add whatever lip I want to do for the interior of the mouth, and then add the neck. So that's what I did. And I ended up with, where is it here? Here we go. So you see, I just added in, I knew I wanted, just for this design, I wanted no lip on the top and I wanted a bit of a lip on the bottom. So I just added a bit of a lip on the bottom, added the neck, and this is literally the same pattern. That's it. And that's all. And then when I put the fleece on, what I ended up doing, just to make it nice and so that it would lay flat and lay proper, it is very much a Bart Simpson. It does look very Bart Simpson-y. I ended up taking all of the darts in the top, and you can really kind of see the star shape here on the camera. I ended up just stitching the middle bits, but leaving the darts open when I put it on. So it was very easy to put on because there's all these gaps and everything. And that way I could make sure that I lined everything up. I just aligned the darts on the fleece with the darts in the head. So it was all nice and centered and everything. And then I just ladder stitched them all closed. That's where we are now. So what is this gonna be? Those of you on the Discord already know this is going to be special Halloween build. This is going to be another Nosferatu vampire. Oh, and the other thing about this is using my new mouse plates. I know you can't really, I don't have any printed out that aren't already in a puppet. Let's see if we can, yeah, it's actually not bad. You can kind of see what I did there. On the Discord, you will have seen these already. What I've ended up doing is printing out the mouse plate shape, but then also printing like a bracket, like a sort of a U-shaped bracket, and then feeding a piece of leather through that, stitching it closed, and then shoving the seam underneath the bracket. These are bulletproof. Like, these are not coming off. No matter what you do, this is going to hold. So these are my new favorite mouse plates. So much innovation just in the past week. It's been amazing. So I'm very happy. So this is going to be the Nosferatu Nosy Fartu. Yes. That sounds like a Star Wars character. Which I think it was a joke you already made on the Discord. I'm sorry if I stole your joke. Are you hand stitching the leather straps? Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm cutting the strap to the right size so I can feed it through. And then I just kind of eyeball it. I punch a couple of holes with a leather punch, and then I just hand stitch it closed. Making sure I do a lot of whip stitches. Sorry, brain went away. and making it really, really strong. And then when that's done, I sort of turn it around and feed it back underneath the bracket, and then I shoot a little glue in there so it won't come out. And it's perfectly clean. It's the best ever. Yeah, so that's the other thing is I just did these. So I was thinking about the way I normally do ears. You've all seen me do ears with the Langston Hatch method. Was to carve them in foam and then carve them in fleece. And I thought, well, I want something that's a bit more symmetrical, because it's really hard when you're hand carving foam to make anything symmetrical. And this is a case where I did kind of want it symmetrical. So I thought, well, I got this 3D printer. I could always just print something. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up modeling these forms in Blender, and we're going to cover these in fleece, and then these are going to be, well, I think it's got it backwards. This is, no, that is right. Yeah, this is the way that it's going to go. And we're just going to cover these, spray adhesive, cover these in fleece. I don't know how much the 3D printer was, because this is the thing that I traded Indies Keep. Shout out Indies Keep. Wanted a puppet and had a spare 3D printer. This is a Sovol SV01 Pro. It is very Spock. It is very Spocky. But it's Nosferatu, so of course it is. So these are what we're going to do for the ears. So yeah, it's a Sovol SV01 Pro. And I honestly don't know how much. It's about $300-400 US, I think, approximately. But so useful. I can't even. It's not a 5-fingered. It was a 3-fingered disc cap, like this, right? Greebly hands, right? But yeah, it was a great little arrangement, because Indies Keep had a spare printer and wanted a puppet, and so we just did a trade, and it was great. Don't steal 3D printers, no. It's true, Max Shrek did have a couple of years on Spock. So, the other thing, I haven't actually shown this yet. I showed the model of it, but I haven't actually shown the finish. This is gonna be a little hard to see on stream. Where did I put them? The teeth. Printed out some teeth. Let's see if we can get. There we go. Thank you, Indies Keep. The reason I wanted the overbite, right, is because of, I know it's hard to see. I gotta hold them in place, so it's hard to see. Yeah, the Nosferatu teeth. I think those are gonna look real good. So yeah, really, really happy with how this is going. It's such a pleasing shape. I just love how it looks. It's just so good, so good. So what are we now going to do? There's a number of different things we can do. I really just have to make the body, which is kind of the boring part. But that's the thing with the build streams, right? I just got to do what I'm working on. So I think that's probably where we're going to go. Here's the other thing I want to show that I'm thinking about toying around with. I'm thinking about doing some versions of hands, some different versions, because the way that we do it, Scarlett's up with the Nosferatu puns now. The way that you normally do hands is just with wire armature inside. We've all seen how we do the wire armature inside the hands, so you can make the fingers posable. But I've been thinking about doing actual discrete joints, so that there would be like a hinge point and an actual point at which the finger will bend, and that way, rather than doing like sort of a curve, it would actually have like knuckles and stuff. So I just got this off Thingiverse. I just printed it out this morning, and it's just to see. So this is like a little articulated finger, and this has potential. So this is a bit thicker and chunkier than I would want to put inside a puppet, but this was literally print in place. Like I just printed this out, peeled the supports off of it, and it already had the joints ready to go. Like this is pretty good. So this has got some real potential. I'm going to play around with these kind of things to build like a little endoskeleton, right? What I would want to do with this, and we talked a bit about this on the podcast, is make a hole down the center of it, and then just put some of the twisted wire that we use for finger armature inside here. So if these joints loosen up, it wouldn't matter, like, because the wire would still be there to hold it in place. Nothing is boring when we're all together. Ah, what a nice sentiment. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everyone. Thank you, Monstrosity Channel. Yeah, this is the next frontier, I think, is working on endoskeletons for hands. I think that's a really cool thing to do. And I might not do it for this Nosferatu, but it's definitely going to be in the future, I think. This was about 30 minutes to print this out, so it's not fast. And if you're going to print out, like, 8 of them, I would be quite a while on the printer. So we'll see, but it's got some potential. I like the whole idea of discrete endoskeletons quite a bit. So we'll see about that. That's the next interesting thing. I just wanted to show that off because I literally just did that now. So gotta make the Nosferatu body. The other thing that I want to do is I want to design some new hands for this Nosferatu, because I want, obviously, to make them very Max Schrecky and very, very long and spindly and have the nice long nails. That's the other thing. I have to print out some nails. Nosferatu needs them nails. He needs his claws. I noticed the hand on the Greely was so much stronger than the hand I made for my Goblin. I can tell the wire use is better than what I had. So here's what I do for the wire. I don't know if you've ever seen me do this, Indies Keep. I've done it on stream a couple times. Let me show you this. Wow, we're talking. I only have a small piece ready to go, but so this is, let's put the top cam. This is 20 gauge, I think. Let me see. Here is the wire that I use. 19 gauge. So it's 19 gauge. This is really weird. It's backwards twice. That's the thing. Question already answered. 19 gauge stainless steel wire. Hardware store. And then what I do is I basically fold it in half, and I put one half in the vise and the other half in the end of a drill, and I twist them together. Right, and this is what goes inside the hand. So it's a twisted. So it's 2 thicknesses of 19 gauge steel wire twisted together. These are really strong. You would have to bend these a lot to break them. So this is what I use for all of my armatures. So this is what I would want to put, for example, where did I put the finger? That's a weird thing to say. This is what I'd want to do. I'd want to make a hole down the whole center of the thing, and then just, glue in a wire inside this. So then when you bend it, it will both have the discrete joints and have the wire that holds it in place, right? That's my thought for that. That may not work out. I have no idea. That's another experiment to try in the future, but so that's what I use for my wire armatures. Let me put these teeth in a safe place because they're little tiny fiddly things you can follow with. So let me clean up my desk here, because I'm just going to get on with making the body, which is not terribly exciting, but got to be done. The body that I'm going to use for this, the neck is the same size as the human pattern, that one that we did on stream. So that's I'm just going to use that body because it's basically just a tube. That's all you need for this anyway. So yeah, let me clear some of this stuff up, and then we can get some foam out. Actually, I think I'll do the fleece first. I don't really want to close the door today. I'm waiting for a delivery, so we may not be getting the danger honey out. What I have run out of are the envelopes that I put my patterns in. So I have all these patterns just kicking around loose. That's not great. Excuse my head in the camera there. But let's put these aside. I got to make sure I don't misplace these. I use a softer metal used for soldering. Ah, yes, that's probably not a good idea. Those will break quite easily. Steel wire is the thing that is recommended. I don't have any room to put all of these prototypes now. Maybe we can stick these up here. Nigel, hold on to that. What, you say something? Oh, I was being frightened. All right, we'll just shove all these up in here and I'll clean them up later. So in terms of patterns, we got to get some patterns. It is very like there's so many places you could go, like an alien. I keep thinking of the mad scientist from Looney Tunes, right? It's like there's a lot that can be done with all of these, and will be. It is very Megamind. You are right. So I'm going to start with the fleece just to see if we can get away with not having to get the danger honey out today. What is this? Body V2. I think that's the foam. Here's the fleece. Here we go. So this is super simple. I'm also gonna, like I said, I'm gonna design. We'll probably end up at least starting the design of the new hands on stream. Yeah. There's a lot here. There's Barry Bart Simpson. That was the Frankenhuman head. Okay. Everyone in there? Everyone's in there. And fleece. Lovely Weird Kid Store fleece. My favoriteest of all. When you get the vacuum form, you could do transparent sculpt with a brain inside of it. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely a Mars Attacks kind of shape. Let's see, which way is the stretch going? I gotta be careful because I gotta make arms and hands out of this as well, and there isn't that much. I'm gonna be judicious. Now, obviously, being a Count Orlok, it's gonna have clothes, so I don't really need to make the whole body out of this fleece. Although we'll see. I just got to make sure, and also I don't need to make the whole arm out of this fleece as well, right? It's really going to need to make the hands and wrist. Okay, there, stretcher's going that way, so let's see. So we need 2 of these, and being, as it were, a tiling pattern, we only need to cut one piece and then do one seam and then sew up the darts. So that is what we will do. Now, unfortunately, because I went ahead and got all excited and attached this already, I won't be able to sew the neck on the machine. I'm going to have to hand sew this. So if anyone's interested, Zovil has the 3D printers on sale currently directly on their website. Good to know. One problem I have is being in Canada, I don't think they ship to Canada. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure I looked because I want another of the build plate, the magnetic flexible build plate surfaces, and I couldn't get one. So I gotta find a mule or something. Okay, I think that should be okay. I should be able to get enough for arms/hands out of that. And if not, I will beg Weird Kid to make me some more of this particular color. So let's grab marker. So this, since this pattern, like I said, this actually tiles, I'm just gonna like flip it and we're gonna make another dart and then. So I'm just gonna sew one seam on the machine and then the rest we're gonna hand sew. So more exciting hand sewing, lucky you people. I'm also not going to worry about going too far down because obviously I'm going to have clothes a nice Kasaki style jumper. So that can be as long as I want. The sleeve. Since Orlock has that great coat, you'll only need sleeves for the hands and wrists. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, I won't. I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do this the same way I did the Frankenhuman. I'm going to make the body and arms. I'm going to make the arms removable. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily need to do the whole thing. So I'm just doing like the minimum. I am going to do the whole arms though, just in case whoever buys them wants to put them, because I'm only going to do, I got some more Infinite clothing coming, and then one just a black long sleeve, very simple jumper style, and that's all I'm going to use. You know, if somebody wants a frock coat, a proper frock coat with buttons and lapels, then they can freaking pay somebody to make one, because that's a whole other thing. Yeah, resin printing is cool. There's just so much to it. The fact that the fumes are really, really nasty, and I don't want to have to like get an enclosure and deal with the kind of ventilation that you need for that. Also, it is resin, so it's heavy. So there isn't a lot of like puppet building applications that I would want to use that for, just because it's resin and heavy, right? So even though it makes nice smooth prints, I still wouldn't want to. I would still prefer to print it in with filament and then sand it. But that's just me. And as we all know, I'm a bit weird. Oh yes, we also need a bit of a seam allowance because we're going to sew this one seam on the machine. I usually just eyeball my seam allowances. You end up cutting them off anyway, so no sense in getting all fussy about it. And then we cut. We're going to pin it together and do one seam on the machine, and then the rest. Dun, da, 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 hand stitching time. Yay. I'll also at least cut the foam out for this. I don't know that I want to glue it on stream. Like I said, I want to keep the door open because I'm listening for a delivery. And I'm the only one home right now, so. My address is, no, I'm kidding. Hey, Tom of I've still got the button, the Creature Works Studio. Nice to see you, Tom. Octofarm boy, yeah. Oh, believe me, I got thoughts. I have thoughts, if not plans. Okay, here we go. You're right on time. No one is ever late, particularly not if you're a wizard. Frodo. So you reached the not exciting portion, Tom. Because I had given a whole, you can go back and watch the video, but I had given a whole thing about how we arrived at this beautiful head shape. Need to watch Ahsoka. I'm playing a bitch. I'm quite enjoying Ahsoka. Pro tip. If you haven't watched Rebels, You might want to, because it's basically a sequel to Rebels. And Rebels is very good, so. But yeah, they're doing good stuff with Star Wars TV shows. Okay. And then I'm going to pin this, and I'm going to sew this one seam on the machine, and then the rest. Time for exciting hand sewing action. Yeah, the Timothy Zahn trilogy, which is no longer canon, but they pull a lot from it, because Thrawn was a bit of a fan favorite, so they really wanted to reintroduce him into canon. Okay, so if you'll excuse me a moment, I'm a bit of a scratchy throat just from talking and having the window open, so I'm gonna go grab me a lozenge. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put up the be right back screen, but I won't be long. They put a Flowbee. Nice. I really want one, honestly. It's one of the that can't overlook the road here. Looks familiar right out, right? Yeah, no, Flowbees are great for puppet building. They're unbelievably useful. The level of cleanup you have to do when you trim fur, if you don't have something like a Flowbee, is a lot. So yeah, good score there, Anne. Nice. Okay. Getting the machine. Exciting sewing. I guess we'll go to, what's the Flowbee? So a Flowbee is basically, this camera's pulled back way far. Hang on, sorry, I'm gonna be shaky cam here for a bit. A Flowbee is basically a vacuum cleaner that is attached by a hose to like a hair clipper style cutter, and it was a big thing of like I guess the 80s. I remember the commercials where you could like do your own hair cutting at home, and they would show some poor kid strapped to a chair with their mother just taking the Flowbee to them. But the thing is, it would trim the hair and then suck right into the vacuum, so you wouldn't get hair everywhere, right? Not so great for human haircuts, but, and this is actually, BJ Geyer talks about this in his courses. He's like, if you could still get Flowbees, get one, because for trimming fur on a puppet, they're fantastic. You don't make a big mess out of the shop, and you can trim it down to a specific length, and it's just they're great. So yeah, Flowbee is a hair trimmer attached to a vacuum cleaner, and they're great, just not for humans. Puppets, good stuff. The machine out here is all kind of buried. I just unplugged it. That's probably not good. There are clear segments that you stack to change the suck length. Oh, the jokes write themselves, don't they? I cut my hair yesterday with a Flowbee. See? Flowbee power. The Flowbee, thanks to puppet building, and like mascot making, all that kind of, fursuit people. The Floby kind of has a second life, you know. It became a bit of a punchline for late night comedians for a while, but it has its uses. I, of course, don't ever have to worry about that kind of thing. If the jokes write themselves, why do we need writers? We don't. AI can do it all. Just much worse. But hey, at least we don't have to pay people. That's the important thing. All right, we're just gonna zip off a quick seam here. Put this on the right way. I'm so disorganized. It's been a week of just like mad scientist style prototyping and coming up with new things, and so things are a bit scattered about the shop. But it's been fun. Is he who is the SAG president? Yeah, is it Fred Drescher? Which is cool. Give him hell, Fran. Go get him. Before that, I believe it was Ed Asner. You do not want to. You don't want to mess with Ed. All right. Wow. That was fast. So now I fear we are at the point where I'm going to hand sew. The camera looks good today. I finally got the focus dialed in, I think. I think that's about right. Yeah, well, that's Fred's secret weapon, right? The voice. Just do the voice. I know that's her natural speaking voice. I know she's not doing a voice. More power to her. For the longest time, she did a voice to hide her natural voice, and then she at one point just realized, you know what? Screw it. This is just me. I'm going to be me. I say good on her. I don't even like it what you want. Yeah. It works, man. All right, so I'm just gonna sew up. I've got these like 4 little darts here. I'm just gonna sew these together, and then we will get on with it. So we'll just chat until then. Nice to see the numbers up again. The numbers have been going down lately. And I've decided to not worry about it. Look at me not worrying about the numbers going down. Yeah, it's fine. That's one of the reasons that this Nosferatu is coming together so well. is because I went, you know what? I'm turning 55 this month. It's my birthday month. So I'm just gonna give myself permission. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not gonna set any goals. I'm gonna make the thing I want to make, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. I want to do new things. I want to do things I haven't done before. I want to push my skills forward. So that's what I'm doing, and you can see where it's going. Everything has been fantastic. This is going to be a very special build, I can tell already. So it's worth it. Every now and then, just take a step back and don't worry about time. I'm going to be hurting next month, but that's a problem for future Kevin. Make the numbers go up, buy a puppet. Yes, thank you. Yeah, there are a few on the shop right now. I still gotta. I mean, I really would like to be finished this Nosferatu by the end of the week. I suspect I won't be, but we'll just see how that goes. But there are a few, and then next week we get back to. I've got a short build week next week because I'm taking Thursday and Friday off because it's my birthday, and then we do the live stream. So I've only got 3 build days next week. So I'm going to do a couple of more smalls, I think, because those are relatively quick. Yeah, the 3D printer has been the thing that has just like gone, oh, suddenly all of these possibilities open up, right? It's nice to see everybody here, though. Thank you for swinging on by and hanging out in the Puppet Mines. And silence descends as the hand sewing begins. Well, I mean, like I was saying before, that is, yep, live podcast. That's gonna be a whole thing. Obviously, because the shop is my only source of income and likely to be my only source of income for the foreseeable future. I do have to set targets, and I do have to kind of hit a minimum amount of building every month just to try and cover my expenses, right? Rent doesn't pay itself, unfortunately. But because of that, I'm always under pressure to do things quickly. And so I have to occasionally kind of go, well, I'd like to do this, but this would take too long. And I need to hit this X number of targets. And that's why it's really nice to occasionally just step back and go, okay, you know what? I need to take the time and do things that I don't normally do just to push myself forward, right? And that's what I'm doing with this Nosferatu. And it's working out really well, so it'll be worth it. And that's the thing, right? Like I spent like almost a week now just working on a pattern, but now I've got 3 different head shapes that I didn't have before, right? Suddenly that opens up a whole new bunch of possibilities for different build styles, and there are future benefits. You invest time now, and it ends up being worth it. So don't be afraid to take some time. I know it's really tough, particularly when you're in a position like mine, where you need to, you need to make the bucks, but sometimes it's worth your while to take a breath. Otherwise, you're just a capitalist. More head shapes for me to collect, yeah. My real goal is to have the Nosferatu done by the podcast live stream so we could just have it there on camera. Centerpiece. I would love a crazy turkey puppet to entertain the grandchildren for Thanksgiving. That's a good idea. I like that. The last one thing I should think about with the 3D printer. Here we go with the 3D printer again. Beaks. You know, just ends of noses, beaks and things. Speaking of beaks, I need to do a Neef at some point. Well, after the Halloween builds are done, so you know, mid-October, I'll be getting back to regular shop builds, and one of the first things I'm going to be doing is a Neef. So that's where we could talk. Look at beaks, because Neefs are got that very Skeksis-y kind of vibe. You're planning to try and make like a little pith helmet. Yeah. How would you go about? I guess you would sand it. I'm a little bit wary about making anything that big that will be shown. That would be tricky to sand, because like a pith helmet would have, like, you know, angles and stuff. It would be hard to get in there and sand. It's a lot of sanding work. You really do see the striations, even if you're printing at a high quality. So I am trying to stick to things that either it won't matter if you see the layers, or can be sanded easily, or are internal, right? I've seen people talk about like brush on or spray on filler for trying to smooth out like PLA filament prints. I haven't really looked at that stuff yet. I know for ABS there's the acetone thing, but you know, you will talk about fume issues. Trying to avoid that. That's a good point. Yeah. Oh, we have a new follower / subscriber. I'm not sure what platform that is. Thank you. Nice to see you. Welcome to the Puppet Pit. The Puppet Pit. Blah. I mess up the line already. I'm doing the podcast now. Welcome to the Puppet Pit, where we're talking about the puppet slide of Pixels and Puppets for the last 2 weeks. Except that it's not that, and we did this last week, so it's really just 1 week, and I'm auto podcast mode now. Hello, welcome, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And listen to the podcast at pixelsandpuppets.com. You've arrived in time for some exciting hand sewing. Welcome to a lot of what this is. But this is nice. This is where we get to just sit around and chat. I'm not even printing anything, so I can't even put the... I could print something, actually. What I've got on the... Actually, let's do this while I'm finishing up. Let's go to close-up cam. There we go. So yeah, so I just got these. These are my doll joints, my removable doll joints. I don't think I've actually shown these yet. But this is what I'm doing to make removable arms now, instead of the old method. Let's see, what camera should we go to? Actually, this would probably be the best. So all it is just a ring washer type thing, and that's got a thread in it, and then a bolt. And the bolt. And like, I literally just pulled these off the build plate. You saw it. And then the bolt, you know, screws into the washer. I know that's out of focus. I apologize. But this bit gets glued into the top of the arm, and then this bit goes inside the puppet, and now we have a removable arm that's just a bolted, like a threaded rod. Does anyone know what happened to BJ Guyer's YouTube channel? So, is it gone, or he just hasn't posted? Because I know he hasn't posted in a while. I know he meant to, and then he got real busy. So that's all I know is why he has to post it. I know he was going to start posting a whole bunch of stuff, and then he didn't. He got real busy with his studio, or his new studio. They were actually looking for people recently. They're hiring. And no, that's not in the cards for me, but it's nice that they're busy. So anyway, those are my 3D printed doll joints, and it's for removable arms. So I need more of these. So I'm just going to print more of these. So give me a second here. We'll go back to the close-up cam. I will load up Cura. Here we go. And hit print. This takes about an hour for a pair. These are 20 millimeter. Go back to OBS. There we go. So soon that'll start up. So there's something to watch while I'm ahead. So I guess you can watch the 3D printer printing. But yeah, then all I have to do is like scale these to whatever the diameter of the arm is, and then print out a pair. And they're really nice. That's what I did the Frankenhuman. So I never have to buy doll joints again. I can just print them, and they're removable. Again, love the 3D printer. 3D printer is love. Where did I put the... Oh, there it is. I need more thread. Where's my thread? Yeah, BJ had a YouTube channel he was starting to post on, and then he just kind of stopped. And like I said, I'm sure he just got busy. And like, it was a relatively new thing for him too. Like he just started. Let me see if I can find it actually. I probably can. I have, of course, subscribed, so it should be in my subscriptions list. Hey, look, I'm live. What do you know? Why can't I just get to a list of my subscriptions? I don't care about any of this stuff. Oh boy. Great. Is it in library maybe? Playlists. Like video. Why do you make this so hard, YouTube? Why? If people are confused, they'll just randomly click on things and we'll get more views. It used to be easy to find this stuff. Now it is not. Oh wait, here we go. I think I found the list. Maybe it is gone. There's the Creature Works. There's Monstrosity Channel. There's Indies Keep. This is like through the looking glass. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the list. Maybe it is gone. Possibly some deal. I don't know. I only talk to BJ occasionally, so I don't know everything that's going on with him. Yeah, it ain't there. Huh. Okay. I guess BJ's YouTube channel is gone. No idea. Let me close that so I can see chat. Hey, 3D printer starting. Yeah, there we go. It had to warm up. You can't just, you gotta let it, you know, you gotta let it do its thing. So yeah, these are just more of the dull joints. Now it does take about an hour to print a pair, so it's a little bit, you know. I wouldn't use these for everything. I would only use these for things that I wanted to be able to remove the arms. If for like a small or something, I wouldn't bother with these because you don't need to remove the arms. It's true. Indeed, does keep posting content. I wish I had time to watch any of it because I don't. I do apologize if you see me. Did you test that bolt? I've had many snap on me, so I use M6 screws with the washer. Yeah, I print the bolts that were pretty thick infill. I did actually do some little stress tests, and yeah, you can, depending on how much infill you printed with, it can snap. I think these should be fine, but I mean, again, anything's gonna fail if you put enough stress on it, right? If you do have a YouTube channel and I am subscribed and I haven't watched your things, I apologize. I literally just don't have time. Anytime I have to sit and veg in front of a screen, I'm usually playing a video game. It's not personal. It's just I need my me time. But yeah, I learned about the threaded bolt snapping thing before I dialed it in. I printed it slightly, like I didn't print the washer, like the nut part, at a big enough scale. I printed it the same, you know, the same thread, and of course, because the plastic shrinks a little bit, it just wouldn't fit, so I really kind of hauled on it and tried to like force it, and then it just snapped right off. So that's what I'm wearing. Oh, okay. Well, hey, I need that to be stronger, so it's just more infill. That's all. If in doubt, 100%. And just let it print for 16 hours. These are pretty good though. They're also quite thick. I don't know if they're also pretty like hefty. I print them chunky. I just saw a small production to a company with low wages in a sweatshop. No, never. If Operation Puppet ever is able to expand and actually hire people, we will pay a good wage or we won't do it at all. Here's how it is going to work. Spoiler alert, we'll never be that big, but it's nice to dream. How complicated, I just snagged my microphone with the thread, of course. How complicated are 3D printers to a beginner? So, they're definitely not plug and play, I will say that, but they're way better than they used to be. One of the reasons it took me so long to do it, because I've always known about it and I've always followed it, is just knowing that they weren't quite there in terms of being able to get up and running quickly. They're kind of there now, but you do need to learn some things. Now, thankfully, there's lots of YouTube videos of like, here's how to get started with 3D printing, and here's what all of the terms mean. And you're always going to run into situations where the people are throwing around jargon that you don't recognize. But that's the case for everything, right? That's the case for puppet building even. So for me, at least, I can only say from my own experience, but now, yeah, I am a technically oriented person, so it wasn't that hard for me to get up and running. There's still a bunch of stuff I don't know. But it wasn't like I literally was bed leveling. There you go. Yeah, exactly. I was literally making stuff that was usable the first day I had the printer. So bed leveling, which I do every night. Yeah. Oh, not quite level. So it will require something of you. I'll say that. It's not plug and play, but it's also worth doing. It's also worth putting in the effort to learn. If for no other reason, then it's just nice to learn a new thing, right? But the things that it opens up, as you've seen, like the blossoming of prototyping and new things and new methods that I've been able to do ever since getting it has been remarkable. So I would say if you are on the fence, get yourself a nice starter one. Like these Sovels are good starter 3D printers. If it's in the budget, I would say yes, go for it. It's been a blessing for me. It's been a bit of a headache, but nowhere near it has more than made up for the headaches that it is. So I'm almost done with this dart, and then guess what? I get to sew this to the neck. So more hand sewing. Hooray! Hey, at least we have a 3D printer to watch, right? The other thing I could do is design the Nosferatu hands. Maybe I'll switch to that just because it's more interesting for this stream. I could always sew this afternoon after lunch. You know what? That's what we'll do. Just for you. Just for you. I'm doing the Fran Drescher voice. Just for you. We'll actually design some hands after I'm done this dart. Just to make it more interesting for this stream. There's also a lot more publicly available files that you can print now compared to 2 years ago. True, there's a site called Thingiverse that you can just go and download 3D, like ready to print 3D printer models. And the other thing is Tinkercad, which is from Autodesk. That's where most people start with basic making your own 3D models. That's what I use most of the time. I've really only just started using Blender to make more complex things like the ears for the Nosferatu. But all these, like the threaded bolts and stuff for all these, the joints and the eyes and things, that's all through Tinkercad. Okay, we are done the darts. Making sure I pronounce the A so I don't sound too much like some Northern Ontario hick. Dirty. You got them dirts in the puppets. Oh yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're them. All right. There we go. We got a nice little tapered tube for our body. Let's design some Nosferatu hands. exciting. How come that didn't change? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, it did change. Never mind. I don't know what just happened. My brain just went away. Okay. So, let me get this pattern in the right place because otherwise I'm going to lose it. There we go. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hand pattern or the arm pattern that I have already made for this size of puppet. It's in here somewhere. Here we go. And I made this on stream, so you can go back and watch the designing the puppet from scratch video series, and that will show you how we ended up here. Stream still going? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think it just got weird there for a second. I'm not sure what happened. Let me know if you can still see this or hear this. So, for Nosferatu, obviously, now this is just a standard human hand. For Nosferatu, we want like the long, spindly, very thin, creepy, claw-like hands. So I'm just basically going to take this, but this idea, I also want them a bit bigger. Like I want the hands and head to be proportionally big compared to the rest of the body. Thank you. But I want the wrist to be about the same. So I'm just going to kind of start there and then sketch it out from there. So we will just get some cardstock and see what we can do. Another sip of coffee. Do I have any regular size cardstock? I do not. I'm gonna pop into the office for a second because that's where all my cardstock is. I won't put up the Be Right Back screen. This will just take me a second. I'll keep talking and we'll see if the mic can pick me up all the way in the office. Here we go, walking into the hallway. Saying hello to Dax. Hello, Dax. Dax is running away. The mic will probably be breaking up at this point because I'm far away through a couple of walls. And grabbing some cardstock. And then walking back. I'm gonna pet Dax. There's Dax. Dax is yelling. I don't know if you can hear that. That's Dax yelling. Dax exists. Yep. Dax is very bossy. Did you hear Dax? Was the mic picking up when Dax was yelling? Okay. Here we go. We got some cardstock. I need another one. Buy Dax a coffee for more pets. Yes, there you go. That's sure to work. Thank you for the Puppet Making from Scratch playlist. That's another thing I was thinking. You know how I keep saying one day I'm going to shoot that FAQ series and then never do because I never have time. I think possibly a good half step is to just Scarlett has already very helpfully gathered together a Word document with the questions. I could probably just go through the VODs and just pull out the points at which I cover this stuff, and maybe I'll just make like edited FAQ videos that way. Because I've already done all this like on stream so many times that it's kind of redundant. I just wanted sort of like a clean version where I could say, okay, here's the video for this, and here's the video for this. I kind of already have that, so all I got to do is edit the existing footage, right? So that's the other thing I'm thinking of doing. That might be a good like half step towards doing it for real. Okay, so we know that I want these fingers longer, the hand a bit bigger, so I'm not going to be able to fit it all in the same pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark here, and I'm going to draw that. We know that I'm going to want to add a little bit more onto this. So Now the way I did this, just to make sure we had it more or less even and kind of mathematically correct, was I used a circle template. And I went through and I did it like that. So let's try and do that. We'll at least try and keep it neat. Sometimes I just freehand stuff. And then sometimes I don't. I think we'll at least start by making sort of like core shapes that are more or less mathematically correct. So we need a thumb and we need 3 fingers because, yes, Nosferatu. Who's Scarlet? They sound awesome, I know, right? Yeah, Nosferatu Count Orlok was at least a 1 point human. That's a good point. I wonder if anybody's ever done any like concept art for what Count Orlok looked like before he turned into a vampire. There's some interesting fan art. I'm just going to put the center line. That. And you know what? That center line, because the center line should align with the middle finger. Let's just make that go all the way up. And in fact, I'm going to put fingertip about there. Let's see if that's probably long enough. One mistake I made with this is I made all the 3 fingers the same length. You want the middle finger to be a bit longer. So let's just do that. So I'm gonna do it the same way where I'm making these circles just to kind of guide me to keep things even. I also want a bit of space between the fingers just so they're kind of like all splayed out and skeletal, right? And then the thumb will be down here. And these will also help guide the wire armature. So again, I don't have a plan. I'm just gonna freehand / eyeballing this. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all right. So not everything needs to be longer, it's true. Let's see, that's about 9 centimeters, so we'll make this 8. Which is there. Let's make this 8. Oh, it's already about 8. And thumb should be relatively short. That looks all right to my eye. We're not going to be too hung up on specifics. And I'm just going to use a circle template to dial this in a little bit tidier. I'm not even worried about sizes so much as long as it, as long as it looks right. Part art, part science. But all fun. So I'm going to mark, we want the middle joint as well. We want the bend. Now the problem with making these too thin, of course, is it's going to be tough to carve out of foam and then put together. But I do want to make, I don't know how well this is going to come through on the foam, but we're going to give it a shot. right? So I do want to make a little kind of knuckle shape in there. We want these to be nice and skeletal. Remembering, of course, we're also going to put the long nails on the end of these. This is the fun stuff. This is where we get to just play. It's pretty good. I'm not going to worry about making the end of the fingers too bulbous because, again, the nails, the big long nails are going to go on the end of those. So, but we definitely, the prominent knuckle is definitely a good thing. So you see, all I kind of did was draw basically a skeleton, and then I'm just sort of drawing a skin on top of that. And basically, the profile that I want. I'm no artist or anything. I'm just drawing shapes. You can break everything down to basic shapes. This joint doesn't look right. This looks like it's too far down. See, the thumb bends kind of in the middle. We'll see. This may end up, I think once this gets carved out of foam and then the fleece covered it, we're going to lose a lot of these contours. But we'll see. You're an artist, you make art for a living. It's not wrong. That's true. I guess I am an artist of sorts. All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like this. That's a good Orlock hand right there. Yep, I'm down. Yo. Okay, so now what? Well, we cut it out. Also, you don't have to make a living to be an artist. Many artists don't. It's true. In fact, most don't, and that's a shame. And if the tech bros had their way, nobody would. You just get an AI to do it all, after being trained on all of the actual artists, of course. Because first we steal everything, and then we claim it's ours. Yay, capitalism. This is the real children's entertainment part of the program. We're just going to cut out the shapes now, boys and girls. Just realizing, I just said that without even thinking about how unbelievably gendered that is. I apologize. We should remove that phrase from our lexicon. What's wrong with kids? Just say kids. All right. Here we go. Okay, finish this. Binary kids are allowed to do crafts. Speaking of those subjects, let me get this link. I listened to a really great comedy routine this morning on BBC Comedy of the Week. It's an older show. Let me see if I can get a link here. Because this was really fantastic. By Sarah Keyworth. So Scarlett being in the UK, I'm not sure if you know of Sarah Keyworth or not, but they've got a brilliant routine they're doing regularly called "Are You a Boy or a Girl?" and about the subjects at hand. Let's see if I can. Oh, thank you, BBC, for not being useful. Episode. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna paste this in the chat. Hopefully the link will work. Hopefully you can see that. That is a really great routine by a non-binary comedian about being a non-binary person in the UK currently. Well worth a listen. Very, very entertaining. And just listened to that this morning. Oh, what's going on with the Linux server, Jamie? This is pretty good. This is going to be a good Nosferatu hand. Gosh, I guess. So I got to make the foam pattern now from that, because this is the skin. This is the. I mean, the foam is just this, but cut off. So it's easy. My 6th window manager. What are you doing? I thought you were going to run that headless. I thought you didn't. Do you need a window manager? So I'm going to make the foam pattern now, and all I'm going to do is just trace this out and then round it off on the bottom. And this, kids, is just how easy it is to make patterns. You just witnessed it live. Patterns are no big deal. Everyone's got to relax about patterns. Always manage your windows. Okay, let's cut this out. Thumb ended up looking kind of weird. What's going on there? I always trim this down a little bit because the foam should be a bit smaller than the fleece. It also doesn't need to be as defined. This is going to be tricky to cut out in fleece, but we'll give it a shot. This may end up needing a different approach, but only one way to find out is do it. Thank you, Scarlett. Much appreciated. Listen to that routine I just posted. It's real good. Mhm. Look at the time. The time is flying by here. We're nearing the end of the stream. What do you know? So anyway, I really hope I can get this done by the end of the week. It really kind of depends on how good these hands are. I also haven't quite settled on the eyes yet. I have an idea, but it may not work out. We shall see. And yes, it involves more 3D printing. What a shock. Oh no. You're just catching up with JB's trials with the Linux install. These would be good, like Skeksis hands too. You know? Oh yeah, the nails will be 3D printed. 100%. I'm actually gonna do them in black as well because, like, I gotta think of color, right? Oh, that's the other thing. I think possibly a Nosferatu may be the yearly build. I just do variations on it in different years. And I think I didn't have the materials to do it this year, but next year, I guess, I want to do it monochromatic, like do it like it's in a black and white movie, right? So it's like you have to use gray fleece and just black and just shades of gray. And I think that'll look really cool. I think Uziworks, if I remember correctly, Uziworks did a Charlie Chaplin like that. Justin Piet in Uziworks, and it looks really good. It's really neat. So I think we're going to do that for a Nosferatu in the future. Okay, so now really it's just a matter of getting the foam out. Where are we with the foam? So get some foam here. Got some foam here. You can put them on yellow, clear coat them. I think, yeah, I do have some yellow. The yellow I have is really quite bright yellow, though. It wouldn't really match this. So I'd have to find some nail polish that would match it. I think I will just do them in black for this. Very gothy, you know. Around here, we got lots of black nail polish. That's all I got to say. That's not something that we have a crisis over. Okay, so we need 4 of these. Get my Sharpie. Count Orlok was the original Goth. It's true. When will Kevin learn to use pattern weights? Probably never. The guys at Swazzle were to see this, I'm sure they'd cringe. The nice thing about foam is it doesn't have a direction, so you can just kind of lay it however you want. Get the least amount of wastage. Who needs to wait when you have a spare head? It's true. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw a video with Swazzle and they were using pattern weights. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I've been doing this like a sucker, and then I never use them. I don't even have them. I mean, anything could work. It's just a weight. These little like beanbag style things. And then I look at the sloppy things I make and the beautifully precise things that Swazzle makes, and I go, maybe they've got a point. But how else am I going to get ink all over my hands? You're not a proper puppet builder until you've got Sharpie ink all over you. Sissy Sacks, I haven't heard that before. Oh dear. I won't tell Sean and Patrick you said that. I wish I meet, of course, if I ever do meet them, I will. Boom, here we go. Yep, there you go, see? That's the mark of a true puppet builder. Literally, the marks of a true puppet builder. Okay, so that's that. I also need to cut out some foam for the body, so let me pattern that out too. Is this the Puppet War you wanted? No! I didn't want it. Andrew wants the Puppet War. He wants to, like, create, YouTube beef so we'll get the clicks or something. I don't know. I want harmony. I want us all to live in a big happy world where we're all helping each other. I grew up on Mr. Rogers. Move the mouse here. I hope this doesn't click anything it shouldn't click. And I put the Sharpie back. Of course I did. Andrew's scar, yeah, it's true. Since this tiles, I can actually just make this one solid piece, so that's why I put it over here and not up here, in case you were wondering. I need more desk. Doesn't look like it's high enough. Yeah, it'll do. It's just a tube. Tubes are easy. There we go. And now we cut. You need more room for more desk. It's true. One day we'll have a real shop. Party har har har. Let me tell you, kid, it's been 4 years. If you don't have it by now, you ain't gonna get it. You're right. You are right, Tom. Fall is finally here, I think. And a moment too soon, in my humble opinion. Nice and chilly today. Haven't actually been out for a walk yet today. That will be after the stream and after lunch. Yeah, nothing here. Always weird. I'm gonna cut these darts out separately. I'm just gonna do a nice slice right across the top and then just cut all the darts out individually. Boom. And now I'm gonna do something bad. I'm going to be a bad puppet builder and just cut these out with scissors. For various reasons. Don't do what I'm doing. Just for expediency's sake. And this really won't matter in the end. As long as you're careful. I started work for a studio around $1,200 a month. Yeah, I can't justify that. I have space here in the house. You don't want to know what it is in Toronto, my friend. That's a bargain for where I live. Impossible. But hey, it's nice to dream. These aren't Ginger scissors. These are cheap. These are like, what are these? I don't even know what brand name that is. Put it on the camera. Something like Indigo or something. I don't know. This is a cheap ass. Something from Amazon. I wouldn't use Ginger scissors to do this. Come on, give me a break. The Ginger scissors are here in their protective sheath, like Excalibur. What do you think? I'm new? Come on. That's why I reached over here. This is where the foam cutting shears are. Right? I have a few pairs of scissors for various purposes. But Tom brings up an excellent point. Don't use A, get good scissors. B, don't use them on foam. That is definitely a pro tip. Nothing will ruin and dull your scissors quicker than foam. The problem with these knuckles is they're very fiddly to cut out. That problem is storage. Fabric and foam take up tons. Oh, I feel your pain, my friend. Remember a few months ago when I shut down the shop so I could clean it up? Guess what's pretty much back to the state that it was before I did that. Doesn't take much. All right, there we go. There's one. Oof. You know what? It's 9 minutes to go, and I'm going to be doing this for more than 9 minutes. So maybe we'll call it. I had a pair of ginghams my wife took them from the shop to cut cardboard. look at visceral reaction. I didn't lose it, but it gave a great puppet building lesson on why these scissors were not to be used. She rolled her eyes, so no doubt. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, get you some good scissors, and they ain't cheap. That's how you can tell that they're good scissors. And then only use them for specific things. Like fabric scissors are used on fabric. Period. Have you tried vacuum bags with pant hangers? The problem with that is, at least for me, is that things never stay in storage long enough to warrant that. You know what I mean? Like it's always in cycle. So for something like foam, for example, which you're absolutely right, would shrink down really well. Then you need to unshrink it. You need to let it sit and rest and expand a bit. So it's not a bad idea if you are going to store something long term, but I never store something long term long enough. And I also have things like I've got, all these like bales of fur here because I'll buy it in bulk when it's on sale and then use like half of it, but I still got like half, like 3 yards of it sitting here, and just nowhere for it to go. And even if I did vacuum pack it, even if it were like a third of the size, I would still have nowhere for it to go. So it might as well stay in the nowhere that it is, right? It's a whole thing. And this room is tiny, and this is the only storage space I have. It's literally a 7 by 11 foot room. And this is all I got. So, which I'm not complaining about. A lot of people don't even have this, so I am fortunate that I do have this. But nevertheless, all right, we're gonna close it there. Shall we take a look at the 3D printer, see where we are? Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm hungry. We're pretty much at time. 7 minutes, quick, but hey, Thank you, everybody, as always. Stay tuned to all the socials. Listen to the podcast. Visit Tom at the Creature Work Studio. See, look at that, all this stuff ready to go. Thank you for your host. And this is the first time you caught me live. Excellent. Well, there's a lot there. There's a lot of VODs. So, stay tuned for the exciting Nosferatu developments because I'm liking where this is going. So anyway, I am going to go have lunch. So thank you, everyone. Next week, same time, same bat channel, all that stuff. And next Friday, the 22nd, will be the live podcast, live streaming. So stay tuned, as always, to all of the socials. You know how to find me. You know the score. You know the deal. You know when this was from the time it started. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to go eat now. See ya.